Hello guys, welcome back to my channel Elite Wrestling World. I am your host GhostSaad. Thank you guys for joining me right here for AEW Dynamite Forbidden Door Go Home Show. So Dynamite is live from New Mexico. 8 matches advertised for the show, including 2 survival of the fittest qualifiers and also international championship on the line. Konosuke Takeshita defending against Ricochet as well. So pretty stack card announced for tonight. So let's get dive into it and talk about that. So we started off Dynamite with Death Riders backstage. Moxley saying don't stop moving forward and have your partners back. Will Ospreay was welcomed into their hype huddle and Ospreay took a bump into a wheelbarrow. It looked like this broke Marina and Garcia as well. So Ospreay had a big smile for that bump as well. So first action of the night, Death Riders versus Mistico and Brodido trios match. This was a fun party match to start off Dynamite. The match between Moxley and Brodido is set for the Continental title at Forbidden Door pay-per-view. So this was the build-up for that match as well. Groundwork exchanged by Brodido and Yuta to start off this match. We saw Claudio tagged in. Shafir got in a cheap shot, but Brodido still hit a Hurricane Run on Claudio before tagging Mistico, who ran wild before Claudio planted him with a backbreaker as well. Brody King lit up all Death Riders in his path before holding Claudio and Moxley by the hand and hit a widely impressive lucha springing arm drag, and this led to a triple tope suicida leading to Brodido mocking Shafir in the process as well. Shafir distracted the referee, allowing Claudio to clock King with the Continental title, and Moxley stalled the pin. So again, John Moxley getting the pinfall victory and standing tall before the Continental title defense against Brodido on pay-per-view. So very good match to start off Dynamite. Renee is backstage with Team Briscoe as Darby Allin says he doesn't feel ready, but truth is this is Mark's opportunity and he will do anything physically possible to make sure he wins the match and gets the title shot. We saw Orange Cassidy said he will have backpacks for the match and they can put anything they want in it for the match. O'Reilly questions where Briscoe is but answers his own question, telling the Sickos Briscoe will be in the ring later tonight. And the whole team left. Cassidy was okay and he said he's fine. They just kind of oddly left the shot. So again, hyping up the steel cage match on Forbidden Door pay-per-view. Next up is the survival of the fittest qualifying match. Harley Cameron versus Marina Shafir. Harley is rocking Supergirl inspired gear, and we saw footage of her at the movie premiere this week as well. Shafir attacked before the bell, but Cameron ducked a high kick. Cameron hit a baseball slide and stood tall with a crossbody of the steps. We saw Harley hit an overhead throw, high kick and machine gun corner punches. Crowd loudly supporting Harley. Shafir escaped out of a half grab, kicked Cameron in the rear naked and applied a choke, but Cameron tapped the leg and rolled back into a flash pin and shocking Marina Shafir and qualifying for the survival of the fittest match for the TBS title. Post-match, Cameron went out and pointed at the TBS title and Shafir stared her down from the ring. So again, a very good victory for Harley Cameron against Marina Shafir, qualifying for the survival of the fittest match. Video package of Maya World upsetting Athena on Collision last weekend was aired, and we saw Maya World said from her teacher to her idol she's been waiting her whole career for this moment. Monet said congratulations for beating her teacher, but she's not her teacher, she's her boss, Paige. After this there will be no sympathy cards as Dreams don't win championships, Monet does. So again, a very good promo from both the ladies in the finals of the Women's Open Cup, and I think so it's going to be a fantastic match on Forbidden Door pay-per-view. Next up is Will Ospreay versus El Phantasmo. While we don't get a chance to see Phantasmo all that often on AEW programming. He always makes the most of his opportunity and puts on really solid matches. And these two knowing each other so incredibly well, resulting in an awesome match on TV. Lightning quick series of counters to start off this match. Ospreay took a shoulder block, kept up and fired off a loud chop until Phantasmo put on the brakes. We saw Phantasmo sweeping out the legs on the apron, following with a huge springboard moonsault to the floor. Then briefly controlled the action until Ospreay hit the Cheerio for a near fall. Ospreay responded with a Yuzugiri and handspring corkscrew kick for a 2 count. We saw Ospreay with a stun dog millionaire, only Phantasmo held on into a stunner of his own into the reset. Ospreay did his wall walk, ELP hit and Yuzugiri first, only to run into a standing Spanish fly in a wild sequence. And then suddenly Ospreay went for the hidden blade, ran into the Phantasmo snap, Hurricane Rana pin for a very close 2 count. We saw Phantasmo watch the CR2. Ospreay rolls out, holds on, and hits a beautiful styles clash, lining up Phantasmo, waffled him with the hidden blade, and gets the pinfall victory. So again, a very good match, and I think so Ospreay is ready for the finals at Forbidden Door against Strickland. Post-match, Ospreay celebrated before Swerve music hit, and he walked out with Prince Nana for his upcoming match. Staring down the Owen Hart Foundation trophy and title, Ospreay kept his distance and he lived through the crowd. So next up is Swerve Strickland versus Daniel Garcia. Despite the Death Rider being the heel in their first 2 matches of the night, Garcia played babyface here and he did it pretty well. While Strickland has, as evident by the post-match attack, Swerve and Ospreay are on a collision course for Sunday in what could be a show-stealing match, probably the match of the year contender as well. Things got cheapy early with both slapping one another until Strickland picked the anchor and moved to ground and pound. We saw Garcia unloaded punches in bunches and a dragon screw running shotgun dropkick connected. Garcia took too long to go for the pin and Strickland exploded up with the house call before stomping the head on the ring steps. That looks brutal. Strickland called for the house call, but his leg gave out and led to Garcia hitting a beautiful styles clash for a 2 count. Garcia took too long to follow up as Strickland hit his rolling flatliner and house call, and only Garcia kicked out to the huge pop of the crowd. Strickland thought of house call but instead hit a hidden blade for the victory, mocking Ospreay, and this was a beautiful finish. Strickland post-match went to leave but instead looked like he was going to snap back Garcia's arm until Ospreay sprinted out to make the save. Ospreay took Strickland out, was going to hit hidden blade, only Nana tripped out the leg and Strickland flew in with the house call. Strickland went for a vertebraker but Garcia saved Ospreay, and it was Garcia who took the vertebraker. And Ospreay came back in with a chair, but Nana and Strickland bailed out. This was a very good post-match sequence with all the members involved, and the match, the final Ospreay Swerve Forbidden Door Owen Cup final is gonna be a match of the year contender. We go backstage, MJF and Don Callis family. Callis runs down the DC MJF shirt with Kevin Knight telling Darby to take his way down to Forbidden Door. He will send him back to the emergency room. Fletcher said he's going to show Takeshita why he never needed him. MJF cut off Andrade before he could even talk, and he told Mark Briscoe the gap between them is bigger than the gap in his teeth. MJF said Mark Briscoe never hit the jet drill on him when it mattered. So MJF said Callis has assembled the greatest, looking back and questioning why Trent Barrett and Rocky Numero were there with them. And he called the greatest team that ever assembled. Callis brings out the shirt as well. And MJF and Callis were psyched, while Team DC MJF seemed less than enthusiastic. So again, hyping up the steel cage match at Forbidden Door. Next up is Jack Perry versus Zack Sabre Jr. I think so. Sabre always looks fantastic on AEW television. Would love to see him more frequently and not just on rare occasion, and this was a treat to watch. Sabre wasted no time showing why he is the best technical wrestler in the world, as it led to Paris crumbling to the ropes. Paris responded with a series of his own submissions as well. Sabre working on Paris' arm, then tight break. Paris was able to respond with the sliced bread. Referee went outside and demanded Sabre release the hold, and Sabre obliged. Sabre then missed, stomping on Paris' bad arm, allowing Paris to hit another sliced bread on the apron, followed with a moonsault to the outside. Back inside, we saw Paris went for his bounce back lariat, only walked right into an armbar from Sabre. We saw Paris hit a package pile driver as both men traded pin attempts until Paris snagged in the snare trap. Sabre stayed calm, yelling at Paris to fight him as he wrenched at Paris' bad arm. And the submission was gone from because of that. Package powerbomb connects for Paris for a 2 count as he signaled for the sacrifice knee. Ran into Sabre leg lock with a simultaneous armbar and a wrist lock, forcing Paris to submit. And Zack Sabre Jr. getting the victory as well. As Sabre celebrated his win with Tito and Nicholls, Young Bucks music hit and they are out for the upcoming tag match. So the next match is Young Bucks versus TMDK, Mikey, Nicholls and Bad Dude Tito. Bell sounds and the Bucks wasted no time with double team offense, high-five one another in the mid-air with a double running bulldog, stereo spinning back elbows and kip-ups, and Nick went up top but Nicholls crossed Matt and Tito caught Nick on a dive into a slam. Hot tag to Nick Jackson, who hit a double crossbody off the top, collided with TMDK members of a double hip toss into a lucha libre head scissors. Matt tags back in as the Bucks unleashed a super kick party. PK to Bad Dude Tito outside, heading to a metal driver for the pinfall victory. So again, a very good showing for the Bucks and getting the victory here. Post-match, Zack Sabre Jr. returned and attacked the Bucks with Tito until Kenny Omega's music hit and he sprinted out with Jack Perry. Tito got decked with something by Perry as Omega and Sabre had a face-off before Omega hit a Snapdragon and teased a V-trigger. Omega then gets the mic and said nothing personal. He takes that as a warm-up, but Sunday made the best man win. Once Omega wins, he's out for redemption, and after Sunday, everyone will forget about Sabre like they did last year. Omega's music hit, but Sabre took the mic and cut it off, telling Omega to try to stay out of the hospital. So again, a very good confrontation before the match on Sunday, Forbidden Door pay-per-view, and Omega mentioning redemption again signals that he might get a world title shot at the next redemption pay-per-view next month. So pretty much looking forward to that match as well. This is going to be a show stealer match. Next up is Queen Aminata versus Red Velvet, survival of the fittest qualifying match. While this had moments, this felt more like a fight than anything else. These two didn't hold back, and I really like Queen Aminata qualifying for the survival of the fittest match, and she deserves it most. Aminata used her power to avoid an early arm drag, hit a release German suplex. We saw Velvet, who put former TBS champion Willow Nightingale on the shelf. Velvet avoided the wide headbutt from Aminata, asking for a handshake, but it was ruse as Velvet nearly got a roll-up for a 2 count. Aminata was clutching her neck and tried to squeeze at her fingers as Velvet quickly hit a scissors kick for a 2 count. Velvet tore off the tape from Aminata's neck and it only woke Aminata up. We get a strike battle. Velvet hitting a thrust kick apologized to Aminata before trying to hit a home run kick. Only Aminata ducked and hit off her head for the pinfall victory. So again, a very good victory for Queen Aminata, qualifying for the survival of the fittest match happening at Dynamite next week. So backstage we saw Renee is with Young Bucks, who talked about their 3-way tag at Forbidden Door, saying momentum is on their side as they are on their way back to the World Tag Team titles. They are going to super kick down the Forbidden Door when they hear fighting and see Adam Copeland and Christian Cage brawling with David Finlay and Clark Connors. They drive Finlay into a brick wall in a wheelchair before Clark Connors holds up the makeup artist and Finlay recovers and the dog spray hairspray into Cop and Cage's eyes. They choke Cop and Cage out with cable cords, screaming for them to kiss those tag titles goodbye. This was shocking in that sense that this has to be the longest backstage brawl in wrestling history without any referees security to break it up. This brawl was just allowed to happen. So again, building up for the tag titles, the dogs, Cop and Cage, Forbidden Door pay-per-view. Next up is Konosuke Takeshita defending the international title against Ricochet. This felt like a pay-per-view caliber match crammed into a sprint of a TV main event. If that makes any sense, these two put on a thriller and fans legit thought Ricochet was going to walk away with the title here as he had plenty of near falls throughout. Ricochet attacked before the bell and hit a quick dive to the outside springboard dropkick back inside as Sasuke special on the opposite side of the ring, and springboard 450 splash connects for a very close 2 count. Takeshita ran through a chop and flew for a Takeshita line, but Ricochet answered with the 619 in the corner springboard flying clothesline and running shooting star for a very close near fall. Hard forearm from Takeshita, spin kick from Ricochet, both trade pin attempts. Ricochet wanted vertigo, but Takeshita countered into a bastard driver and released German for a very close 2 count. Ricochet lowered the knee pad and wanted to hit a power drive knee before going up top for a shooting star press, but Takeshita kicked out of that. Avalanche belly to back, only Ricochet landed on his feet, whiffed on spitted gun, and Takeshita tried a power drive knee. Ricochet leapt for a Hurricane Rana, but was planted with a high stack power bomb for a 2 count. These two going crazy and near falls are very good, and crowd was really into this match. Ricochet wanted a spirit gun but was turned inside out with the Takeshita lariat, then the power drive knee and the raging fire for the pinfall victory, and Konosuke Takeshita retains the international title in a very, very good main event match against Ricochet. Chaos erupts to end Dynamite. Mark Briscoe came out right at the end of the match and gave Takeshita his props on the aisle before heading to the ring. Briscoe said Sunday will be cage warfare and his buddies are ready to throw down and have fun in the cage. At Forbidden Door, the implications are a little more consequential as when they emerge victorious, Briscoe will get a shot at the world title held by the scum of the earth, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. MJF sounds like a stupid broken record saying Briscoe isn't championship material, which is okay, this is America, you can have any opinion you want. Last time they faced, Briscoe beat MJF ass and he knows he can do it again at Forbidden Door. So Don Callis walks out on the aisle and asks if Briscoe is nuts. MJF appears behind Briscoe and tags. Briscoe turns the table and teases Jay Driller. Only Kyle Fletcher made the save with the half and half brainbuster. Okada in with a Rainmaker on Takeshita. O'Reilly in to sink an ankle lock on Okada. Kevin Knight flies in with a springboard. Darby Allin appears with a Scorpion death drop. Pure chaos happening in the ring. Roderick Strong ran in with a combo. Doyle moved him down. Orange Cassidy in with an orange punch. He hit another right as Strong hit Doyle with an angle slam. Briscoe was about to hit the Jade Rail. Andrade appeared and took Briscoe out with a lariat. MJF screamed at Andrade and shoved him as Callis calmed his guy down, reminding him about the money MJF paid up. Andrade held Briscoe up just like last week. MJF put on the Dynamite Diamond Ring only this week. Briscoe moved and MJF attacked Andrade. MJF screamed at Andrade for being an idiot and Briscoe finally spiked MJF with the Jade Driller with Team Briscoe standing tall to end the show and Briscoe raising the AEW World title high. So again, Team Briscoe standing tall. End of Dynamite, the build for the Forbidden Door pay-per-view was fantastic and I'm pretty much looking forward to this steel cage match. Team Briscoe standing tall means we might get to see Team MJF winning the steel cage match at Forbidden Door and Mark Briscoe might not get the world title shot against MJF anytime soon. So That's the end of the show, folks. Please guys, like and share this video, subscribe to my channel, and keep watching Elite Wrestling World.